Welcome back to the booth for another bomb-proof product review. And in this video, we are going to be talking about the all-new Nitro Phase Snowboard.
Get to the chopper!
Straight out of the box, this playful all-mountain cruiser feels lightweight. I was able to test out the 159 mid-wide, and like I said earlier, the Phase is a brand new model Nitro's introducing for the 25-26 season. The Phase has a pretty chill flavored graphic on the top sheet with this gloss and matte contrast finish. The base is just a standard sublimated graphic, and I was pretty psyched to mount this thing up and give it a rip. The shape of this board is an all-mountain directional shape, so it does have a bit bigger nose than it does tail, making it great for POW days, days on the resort riding groomers, ripping tree runs. You know, this board will perform in the park, turn it around and ride it switch. It's got a great tail shape. This board is playful and pretty much can handle any condition the mountain will give you. Getting into the side cut of this board, what we have here is a dual digressive side cut. So it's a tighter radius between the bindings, and then it blends into a longer radius towards the nose to the contact point and the tail. So what a dual digressive side cut is good for is it kind of eases you into turns, and then in the apex of your turn you can really push and have that good power, and then it eases you back out. So it's a really easy and fun snowboard to ride. I particularly love a dual digressive side cut, and this board felt like I could get it on edge really easy and initiate the turn without that chatter going into the turn, and then I'm also feeling that hook feeling as you come out. So it's got a really easy and playful side cut that performs really well when turning. Let's talk some camber. This board has Nitro's cam out camber profile, and what that is just a standard camber throughout the board. Right before the contact point, it blends and rocks up at the nose and tail. Just kind of gives you that little bit of extra float that you need in the powder, and then also kind of helps you get it in and out of turns easier. I was testing this board in slushy spring-like conditions, so I didn't really get to feel the extra float that I would on a POW day with this cam out camber profile. However, what it did make me notice was it rode shorter. Like typically a 159 feels like, okay, I'm on a big board, but this board felt more like a 157 and a playful 156 with that technology, and then just having like not so much pressure on the contact point. So it's made it playful. So the cam out technology is personally not something I always ride, but I didn't mind it, and I felt like it was a good fit and match for the shape of this board. On this 159 mid-wide model, it's got a 257 millimeter waist width and a 300 millimeter nose and tail width with no taper. I have a size 9 boot, and I ride a medium binding and had no problem getting it up on edge and turning without any heel drag or toe drag, being a mid-wide snowboard. For stance options, we have a 4x2x5 hull pattern. It's got a 21 inch or 54 centimeter recommended stance that's set back 15 millimeters, which is pretty standard for an all-mountain directional shape. Let's get into something that I feel like is one of the most important things in a snowboard, which is the flex rating. The Phase rates out at a 6 on Nitro's flex rating, which is right in my window of preference when it comes to a snowboard. This board does have some good torsional flex to add to that playfulness. It doesn't feel stiff at all. It does retain its pop, and overall, this board is fun and playful. For core profile, we have Nitro's Power Core standard core profile, which is 100% wood, tip to tail, offering that even flex and control. It's got bi-light laminates that are lightweight and responsive. On the base of this board, we have Nitro's premium extruded FH base. It holds wax really well and is super easy to repair. We have an ABS sidewall with a steel edge made from recycled steel. I got to test and ride this board in late season slushy conditions in Austria. We were ripping side hits, a little bit of park, groomers, pretty much all over the mountain. And I noticed this board right away was super easy to ride, really playful. And I liked having a mid-wide under my feet in those conditions and was just kind of dreaming, looking up at the mountain of like what it would feel like in the powder. This board is playful. It does have snap to it as well. And it's also really damp when you're riding in choppy and bumpy conditions. So for an overall, just all around snowboard, I think this board is a great board. And if that's what you're looking for, it's one worth checking out. The thing I noticed most about riding this board is it didn't feel like I was riding a 159. It felt like I was riding something more like a 157 or 156, but I still had that stability and feeling of a good foundation underneath my feet. Who I think this board is for is anyone from pros to weekend warriors, people that like versatility in their gear and ride all over the mountain. This board's going to hold up in the powder and float, as well as be responsive in tight trees or positions where they need to make tight and quick moves, and also burn up the corduroy and the park. Been gathering up some insights from Benny, Jeff, and Canute at Nitro since this phase is a brand new model at Nitro for 25-26. And the thing that they're fired up mostly about is the fact that it is such a good snowboard at such an affordable price. It's not crazy tech and premium on the top end, but it's also not just a super cheap and price point cheap material board. It fits that middle ground of a great board for a great price. So if that's something that interests you, I think this board is really worth checking out. I hope this video gave you some insight that you were looking for on the Nitro Phase 159 mid-wide. Thank you for joining us here at the Bomb Hole, and we'll see you on the next review.
Bomb Proof, presented by the Bomb Hole.